are watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Ireland and Israel compete for a date with the United States. AJ Cannell, so glad to have you with us at Rady Field on the campus of San Diego State University. The Irish against the Israelis. Prime time here on the West Coast. Excited about this one. 9 seed versus the 8 seed. The teams line up at midfield. And we will introduce you to these groups. Ireland, a 4-0 effort in Pool F. And with the exception of one game, fairly routine. Big wins over Netherlands, Korea, and Peru. Double overtime over Latvia. Israel 4-0 in Pool C with a big-time win over Puerto Rico, 12-6. Israel goalie is Drew Morris. He spent 5 years at the University of Maryland. Been one of the top goalies in the field, and for Ireland, it's a goalie duo. They start out with Connor Kelly. They've been flip-flopping the starter each game like a pitching rotation. Matt Curran, Ireland head coach, said it's Connor Kelly's turn in the rotation. They might stick with him if he gets the hot hand, but also might flip it over to Joe Walsh later in the game. Opening face-off, Ian Kadish takes it for Team Israel. We are underway from Rady Field. Sun is setting in the background, the direction that the camera is pointing. We'll probably duck below the horizon midway through this one. Right away, Ireland executing on one game plan point as Israel tries a little hidden ball trick on the opening play. Game plan for Ireland is to keep Israel 6-on-6. One of the most devastating units in transition and unsettled Israel has been. Jackson Apelt with the dodge. Stops in his tracks, takes the shot. Israel has some dangerous creators, but they do it as a team. They don't have any one player really hog the possession. Robert Shane, number 30, their top feeder with 11 assists so far through 4 games. Final time slot, first day of the playoffs. The midfielder, Maxwell Krevsky, with a lot of size, number 48. Bullies his way in. The shot is scooped up. Goalkeeper couldn't trap it, and it's put in off the rebound by Joey Kraft. Connor Kelly, rebound control not there. And the junior at Tufts, Joey Kraft, makes it 1-0. A waste management goal off the top for Team Israel. Doesn't really matter how you score them. Brian Smith, face-off win for Ireland. Now it's loose again. And Smith able to swat it over to Patrick McShane. So Team Ireland will take a possession. 8 versus 9 matchup. The winner takes on the 1 seed, the United States. That'll be tomorrow, 7 o'clock on the bigger stage, Torero Stadium on the University of San Diego campus. Obviously, either team would be a massive underdog in that game, but just the opportunity to be on that stage and play the U.S. is a huge prize and accomplishment within this tournament field of 30. Connor Foley gets through a couple of defenders. The pass gets through Tyg O'Riordan, and he keeps it on their side and keeps the ball. Now back the other way, going downhill again. It's Burke. He shoots with the right, and it's saved by Drew Morris. Microscopic 4.62 goals against in the tournament for Morris, and a .595 save percentage. Sloppy pass on the clear, and the Israelis turn it over. That clear versus the ride on that side of the ball could be the most important matchup in this game with how good Israel is in transition. Ireland has said they'll concede a clear here or there to prevent unsettled goals. That's just icing on the cake there, getting a turnover off an Israel clear. Most recent game on Sunday for Ireland against Peru, won 14-9. The Colorado College junior, Kevin Somerville, going horizontal. Still has it, dishes it off to Thomas Burke. Israel played yesterday, but a blowout win over Czech Republic, 14-4. Now Somerville directing traffic. Expect lengthy possessions if Ireland is executing the way they want to. It's Burke down the left side with the dodge. Smith on the nice cut. Corbett couldn't handle it. Not a bad looking set there from Ireland, but Israel, which their head coach, Max Silberlich, described Ireland as a free-flowing offense and that communication would be key. Israel living up to those expectations and that game plan. Pretty solid so far for Ireland against the Israel clear. Krevsky down the slalom, takes the shot. Connor Kelly is right there. One on two here for Israel. They get the double team and just so dangerous at forcing turnovers. Again, transition opportunities, but looks like Ireland has a chance to clear this. Short stick D-midi, Jack Galvin advances, has it momentarily taken on the ground by Silberlich, but it'll be Ireland on offense again. Joey Kraft with his third goal of the championship is the lone tally up until this point. The reason behind Ireland's game plan is simple. Because Israel is so good in wide open field, they want to slow the game down against Israel. Limit possessions. Paul Modesto here. Back to the basket, so to speak. Big crank from up top is stopped. Aiden Dempsey on the shot. And with a player in trouble, Andrew Kruder, Israel uses one of those first half timeouts. You get two per half. That's a wise timeout there from Coach Silberlich and company. Solid start. Israel probably the favorite on paper here, but it's pretty close. The 8 seed versus the 9 seed, and Israel up by a goal. With the 1 seed, U.S. looming in the background, it's the 8-9 matchup, Ireland and Israel. First quarter of action, 1-0 Israel. This late window of games are at 10, 1, 4, and 7 local time through this entire 11-day tournament in San Diego, the 2023 World Lacrosse Championships. 107 total games. This is game 71. Robert Shane on the feed. In traffic, totally tied up was Joey Kraft. Nifty ground ball by Brendan Bowles, who played collegiately at Colgate. It's Galvin on the clear for the second time in recent memory. And Ireland's, despite Israel scoring the only goal, Ireland's had a lot of possession in the first quarter. You cannot ignore game script. Even though the scoreboard favors Israel, got to think about who the game script favors. Israel probably plays the fastest of any team in the tournament. At least it's top 2 or 3 when it comes to just the desire to go in transition. That's the one thing Ireland has to avoid, the unforced turnovers or even the forced turnovers. It is not always going to be visually appetizing, but you know Ireland is going to follow their game plan if they're holding the ball for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Possession clock not a thing in international play. Here we go, Apelt straight off the clear, throws across the field, and that did not get deflected. So a bad pass there from Apelt. Ireland goalie Connor Kelly played the second half against Peru in their last game. He had 4 goals against, a tournament best 5 saves. It's Bowles advancing it for Ireland, and a whistle. Ireland calling timeout. Similar logic to what we just saw when Israel called time. They had a long pole, in a little bit of trouble, and why not use one here in the first half? Probably don't use that if it's the second half, and you're trying to save them for potential usage late in the game. But Ireland calls timeout. Rady Children's Hospital, presenting sponsor of the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, is the largest children's hospital on the West Coast and ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. One of the impressive moments and biggest games during pool play came on Sunday. Israel defeated Puerto Rico 12-6, held a 5-1 scoring margin in the final 25 minutes of that game. It was a physical game. Israel was 2 for 11 on man-ups, and Puerto Rico had 6 extra man chances, 17 penalties assessed. Drew Morris had 15 saves and only 6 goals allowed. Israel winning against Puerto Rico, clinching Pool C as a result of that game. Puerto Rico earlier today lost in overtime dramatically in a 12-5 battle against England. Play resumes late first quarter. Connor Foley had a notion. Hopping back in. Aggressive slide on him. Foley down lower, and the shot hums past from Somerville. He had a goal and 3 ground balls in their matchup on Sunday against Peru. See if it comes into play at all. That big Israel win against Puerto Rico. Israel had the extra day off. In this one, Ireland had yesterday off. Brian Smith carrying for Ireland. Kruder matching up against him. Foley, team leader in assists and points. Off the pick, pulls it out. On the move, O'Riordan got lit up and a flag comes in. Tig O'Riordan, who wore a slightly different shade of green at Manhattan College. Helped draw some yellow there. One minute. Illegal body check is the announced penalty on Andrew Kruder, the two-time World Championship player for Israel. First man up for Ireland. That just gets hooked all the way in, and I'm not sure who that was intended to. Morris goes long bomb with the clear. Popek gets tripped from behind, and that elicits a flag. So matching penalties for a period of time, and once Israel's gets released, they will have a little bit of man-up time. That was about as obvious as it gets in the open field on number 18, Connor Foley. And that will be a 1-minute penalty. So you think Israel will get about 30 seconds or so on the man up. Actually, it's already started, so the majority of the minute, Israel gets the full man up pretty much, with their penalty having expired. Krevsky back up top. Shane, the lefty shot. Shane is the initiator for this offense. And now Krevsky. Shane again. Jean-Luc Chetner. Nate Solomon back to Chetner. Thinks he might have something, but then falls down around the back from his back. Pass aimed for Krevsky, didn't get through. And so both sides kill a penalty. And when you consider the way that Ireland wants to play, which we'll not try to beat a dead horse completely on that one, but how it applies to different situations here. About a minute to go. There is no way Ireland wants to give this ball back under any circumstances. Yes, they're down by a goal, but slow the game down. Get one last good shot for themselves. Don't give Israel anything. Connor Foley dancing his way in. Somehow that didn't go. Not sure from our vantage point if Morris actually got a piece of it, but did enough to dissuade that from going in. O'Riordan on the move, falling down. And one more opportunity for Ireland, backing that shot up with 13 seconds. Corbett racing back in. He's on his horse. He's got a goal. At nearly the end of the first quarter, Ireland is on the board. It's 1-1. Those restarts can be sneaky. This game gets in such a flow with no possession clock. You go multiple minutes, in this case, the better part of a minute with the ball, and then the rhythm kind of leaves the game on those restarts, and you can catch someone by surprise. Corbett with his team best 11th of the 2023 championship. Enough time left for some damage. End of the quarter. Brian Smith off the draw, bowling over a player. Smith not going to have enough time for a shot. But he got himself a nice highlight reel anyway with that physical play. Israel scoring early behind Joey Kraft on a rebound goal picked up in front of the crease. And then Ireland answering with Patrick Corbett to end the quarter. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. Welcome back to San Diego. The final time slot for games today. On this Tuesday, the first day of the playoffs, a first-round game. Winner to the quarterfinals to take on the United States, Israel, and Ireland, all square after one. There's a whistle off the face-off, Israel with possession. There's a spin and a shot down low by Solomon. High difficulty play. And Ireland back the other way. Ireland methodically into its offense. Luke Palmadesso played at Villanova. He was a Tewaaraton watch list guy. Thinking about it. Off the roll dodge, off the post. That was influenced back into the crease by Ian Kadish, face-off guy and defensive midfielder for Team Israel. Right now, a scoring update. Haudenosaunee leading Hong Kong in another playoff game, 3-1. Twelve and a half minutes to go in the second quarter in that one. Israel scored first behind Kraft, and it was Ireland. At the very end, less than 10 seconds to go in the quarter, Patrick Corbett with his team high 11th. Jean-Luc Chetner, he played at Towson in Maryland. Did he get that one? Waiting for the call here, and it's a discussion first. Was that in the net? No. And that's the far side from our vantage point as well. Very difficult to see what's going on down there, especially when it's something like that. Even the officials 10 feet away had to discuss. So I won't make a guess. You probably have a better chance of guessing if you're watching the TV camera angle. It's a better one than I have all the way up here. Chetner, who had that dodge, he's a player who was thought to be very important coming into the tournament. I don't know if he's been banged up. They said he's healthy, but this is the first time we've seen him in a little while play a significant role. He was an all-conference guy at Richmond and then played his final year at Towson. So look out for number 55. That's an X factor. Is that a stall warning here? Yeah. It was a get it in stall warning against Ireland. Got to stay inside the offensive zone now that they're in. Foley turns the corner. He's got a step, and his shot is saved by Morris. It is loose behind the crease, and there's a whistle, and they're going to keep it here, it looks like. There's a hold called against Israel. Well, you can't hold and you can't push when there's a loose ball. That time a hold is called. It's Corbett on the goal line, or nearby, who has the lone goal so far for Ireland. Now around the net. He's thinking about it. Tig O'Riordan out of Manhattan College. Couple of roll dodge maneuvers. Got to offload this. Corbett, who played at Lehigh. He's being hounded. And it's taken away by Krevsky. Two-way midfielder who's got size to offer on both sides of the field. Maxwell Krevsky, who then collided with Foley after the fact, causes the turnover. And here comes Israel. Jacob Silberlicht, who is the younger brother of the head coach, Max Silberlicht. Jacob's Hebrew name is Yaakov, but anyone who knows anything about Hebrew names would expect that, considering his actual name is Jacob. Zachary Paul, number 1, getting a shift in there offensively. Backup midfielder. Jackson Apelt with it for Israel. Had a 4-year career at the University of Virginia. He was a reserve player there. Brushed off on the screen. Exchanging with Robert Shane, the UPenn alum. Shane wraps around, jumps. Couldn't get as much as he wanted on that shot. Joey Kraft with 13:21 in the first quarter, and then Patrick Corbett with 36 seconds in the first quarter. Israel and Ireland now about halfway through the second quarter, nothing doing yet. It's Brian Smith, number 88 for Ireland. Bump behind the net. Now Connor Foley out of UMass Amherst. Back to Smith, who played at Duke. Smith says, why not? And that will lead us to a timeout with that whistle. It has been a stalemate in the second quarter and in general. 8 seed versus 9 seed. Well, I guess you expect it to be close. It's 1-1 in the second. .654 second quarter. Israel and Ireland in a low-scoring matchup, which has become commonplace with this no-shot clock format, international play. Many lower-scoring games across the field. This is game 71 of 107 over an 11-day span in San Diego. A.J. Cannell with you here in the second quarter at Rady Field. Connor Foley wraps one around, and I'm sure you're tempted to say you're relaxing, enjoying your Tuesday night, maybe a beer in hand on the couch, and where are the goals? Can I see some goals? Could there be one here? No on the shot by Dempsey, and the rebound is corralled. You got to remember, a big part of the sport of lacrosse, and especially the organization which puts on this tournament, World Lacrosse, which is this is the preeminent international competition and world championship in the sport. Big part of the mission is inclusion and growth within the game. And if you're trying to build the game of lacrosse in developing nations, a shot clock might not be the wisest idea. That's kind of why, Team Uganda is able to be here. They wouldn't necessarily fare so well if a shot clock were a bigger part of things. Nate Solomon falls down behind the cage, loses it, and Solomon comes up lame. He has been a gigantic factor for Israel, leading the team in goals and points. Has to hobble off. He lies down next to their bench and gets looked at by the training staff. But there is some upside too. I mean, it's not always going to be as exciting. Sometimes it darn near might feel more like a soccer match is broken out when you're talking about 1-1 here, and the first half is coming closer to a close than not. But the one thing it can do is it can be an equalizing factor. Probably some more explosiveness and firepower on the Israel side, but got an underdog here in Ireland that can limit possessions and make for a close game. And, usually, although you want to see more goals, a close game is not something to complain about. That being said, we'll see if this opens up a little bit as the pressure mounts. It's 1-1 late second quarter, 15-minute quarters. With all these games that these teams have to play, it's running clock for the most part. Final 30 seconds of the first three quarters, final 2 minutes of the game are the only stop time situations. Kadish guarding Corbett. Corbett. And two flags come in. Ireland has found some success leaning in on the dodges from X. Once they get the right matchup. And that'll be a 1-minute infraction against Cody Swing, who played collegiately at Ithaca. Lots of American schools and American names on the Israel side, but 19 of their 23 hold Israel passports. That's a point of pride among many of these teams in the field of 30. Not just relying upon American players, American-born players that have heritage. So this 1-minute man up. Ireland looks to get in front. Thomas Burke puts it up top. The shot from O'Riordan was a bomb, but it goes wide. Burke, quick look in front. Smith, Israel recovers. The ball pops over the top. Whistle gives it to Israel. Jake Silberlick, the coach's brother, sneaks through, will get possession back, and with a flag down, I think because he dropped that ball, that's why they blew it dead there. But Israel will go on the 6-on-5. 1 minute slash. So Israel kills the penalty and now gets a chance. Balter on the wing. Shane was thinking about loading up a shot, but instead couldn't catch it. Here comes Ireland in transition. Pat Smith. Corbett makes a clean catch, steps down for a shot. What a save by Morris. Clutch one there. This game has been on lockdown. All of a sudden it opens up, and Drew Morris is there when you need him. Max Silberlicht has seen enough. Did not like the flow the last little stretch of play, and maybe a little bit of man-up time still left as well. We don't have a posted clock on that. See if we can confirm down at the scores table now that we have the benefit of a timeout. See if we can check on that, guys, how much time might be left on this man-up. Again, it's like, can you find the positive? I mean, there's no replay review. We've seen that come into play a few different times. There is no posted penalty timer. We are now told there's 19 seconds left on the penalty, but it kind of gives you that sentimental feeling in spots like you're just kind of playing lacrosse in the backyard a little bit. This is an extremely well-organized tournament. But in other ways, it gives you that kind of cool feeling as well. It's all about just the lacrosse community, these relationships, the intermingling of different cultures, and it's hard to describe what it's like being here. Everyone's so accessible for the most part. And so we know now 19 seconds left, 6-on-5, Israel. Late stages, second quarter. They're underneath 10 seconds now on the penalty, and the shot by Krevsky gets saved and goes out beyond the field of play. Penalty is released. Shane stepping down before the player recovers, but now Ireland gets that extra player back into the picture, 6-on-6 for good. Robert Shane switching directions multiple times. Shane draws two, and the shot short angle. Paul is stopped. Close to the crease. Paul still fighting, and now it's a loose ball. Close to the end line, but a push is called on Ireland. And now Israel could try and hold this, settle this. That was the body language from Jean-Luc Chetner. Just wait a beat here and try and get a good look to cap off the second quarter. Chetner with the pass. That shot bounces up and hits the crossbar from Apelt. Crossbar off the turf. And here comes Ireland with 10 seconds to go. Timeout 10.4. You can't bring him with you into halftime. And it's 2 timeouts per half regardless. We're actually going to reset it to 11.3. The way it works on the restart, team will get the ball parallel to where it was when time was called along the field. And they'll go from there. Israel has to give them some space. Kind of a tough call there, whether to let Ireland go and try for something unsettled. The decision was made they'd be better off, have a better chance to score after taking time and drawing something up. Well, every possession is just going to matter that much more, whether you love it or hate it. And in this low scoring of a lacrosse game, it is true. Every goal is going to feel like a triumph. No one has scored in over a full quarter. Israel has not scored since less than 2 minutes into the game. Can Ireland end a first-half pitcher's duel with a home run? Connor Foley on the move. Goes far side, just wide. There's a chance with still 3.1. They make Paul Modesto move back. He'll huck this in, and time expires. Shots 13-11 in favor of Israel. Shots on goal 5-3 Ireland. The score is just 1-1. Ireland wanted a slower game. They wanted to shut down Israel in transition. Those things have happened. The Israelis, though, were concerned about communication on defense and the variety of Irish attacking options. They mostly get the cover on those guys as well. So a defensive battle, so much on the line. The winner takes on the United States tomorrow at Torero. The 8-9 matchup has been low scoring, but it's delivered so far through 2 quarters of play. 1-1, Israel, Ireland, here at Rady Field. Well, we have started the third quarter. Face-off in progress. Israel and Ireland for the right to play the U.S. tomorrow at Torero Stadium at USD. Israel off the face-off. Solomon somehow faking, shooting. It is in! What a play! Nate Solomon, the escape artist, into the goal scorer. I don't know if this was on purpose or just plain necessity, but it looked beautiful. What a way to break a quarter-long goal drought for both teams, and for Israel, nearly the entire game worth of not scoring after their previous goal was really early in the first quarter. Inauspicious start for Ireland. Is it a bad omen or something they can quickly come back from, just like the beginning in the first quarter when Israel scored quickly, then the game slowed down from there, and Ireland added one late in the first. It was 1-1 for the majority of the first half. 13th goal of the tournament for Nate Solomon to lead Team Israel. They force Robert Shane down toward the goal line. Now the Estage proves fruitful. They were funneling Shane that way, and he said, yeah, I'll take it. 2 quick goals for Israel.
Goal scored by number 30, Robert Shane, unassisted.
I don't know how much stock you put into the good old halftime speech, but whatever was said on the Israel side is working. The proverbial halftime convo. I mean, you have an entire half that gets played, 1 goal scored very early for Israel. Quickly, it's 3-1. Shane, he's on a mission early in the third quarter. Out of Potomac, Maryland. Played in the Great Interstate Athletic Conference. He was the player of the year in that league for the Bullis School in high school. Shane has been dictating here out of halftime. He draws 2. Apelt swings it around, and that is good. Matthew Bolter out of UMass Lowell and Albany, New York. the former Great Dane. That was a great goal for Balter. Going downstairs to beat Connor Kelly. Now, all options on the table right now. You only have 2 timeouts a half. We'll see if Ireland elects to use one very soon to try and stop the bleeding. And there have just been a succession of loose ball violations as well that have gifted Israel free possession. Foot on the throat right now. I say all options on the table. We were talking about the goalie rotation. You know, next big stoppage as Ireland think about going to Joe Walsh. Not anything against Connor Kelly, but the two have rotated so often, with one taking the first half, one taking the second, that maybe that calculus changes coming off a timeout. You never know. Shane dishes up top. Chetner. Israel has come out with a new energy in the third quarter. I think spearheaded by Robert Shane. Paul forces the flag, gets the shot off. And now Israel goes on the man up. And one of the smallest guys on the field, not afraid of the contact. Midfielder Zachary Paul out of Hofstra. It was 1-1 at halftime. Israel looking for the 5th. Shane considering, goes to Krevsky, step down shot. And a solid effort, but Ireland brings it back to 6-on-6. Across the top, Krevsky down toward the slot, and that's in! Nate Solomon picks up another and comes up hobbling again. He's got that right foot heavily taped, and it looks like Solomon is not 100%, but gutting it out to try and get his team to the quarterfinals and a matchup with USA. I mean, even on the shot attempt, he was barely putting any pressure on his right foot. So Nate Solomon, who went down in a heap on the other side of the field earlier, a timeout now taken by Ireland. And it looks like Solomon is dealing with the aftermath of certainly what looks like an ankle injury. And again, interesting goalie decision here for Ireland. Both goalies playing catch right now. Warming up next to the Ireland bench. Israel coaches have to be thrilled with how they've come out of the gate here, but that is Joe Walsh, the other option. Again, it's not anything against Connor Kelly. He was brilliant in the first half, but considering it's been a goalie rotation, I, for one, am interested to see who they send out there coming off of this timeout. You would think it's kind of now or never as well. This is the tipping point here. I mean, it's either going to get better for Ireland about now or not going to have much hope in a game with no shot clock. And they're going to stick with Connor Kelly. coming out of halftime. Israel scoring 4 times in less than 5 minutes. Solomon, Shane, Balter, and Paul, one apiece. And this is the first possession since halftime. The Irish haven't even seen the ball. And an opportunity to counter what Israel has done. Ireland's 6th World Championship appearance, all consecutive. First came in 2002, just the 3rd one for Team Israel. Both of these programs have typically been toward the top of the field. Israel coming off back-to-back 7th place finishes. Head coach Max Silberlicht saying that the way the format currently is, he thinks it's pretty difficult. As Paul Modesto spins it back out. Now Foley with the dodge. And flag is up. Foley will turn back in. He'll stay aggressive. Absorbing lots of contact. Switch sides, O'Riordan turns around, shoots. And the impenetrable Drew Morris with an Israel player down. We have immediate timeout here to finish the thought quickly. Tough to do any better than top 7 or 7th place if you're outside of Pool A. So again, Israel's goal is to repeat that type of finish. Their goal coming into the tournament was to finish in the top 7. A win tonight would keep that goal alive. And this will take us to a timeout. We'll check on the injured player, which appears to be number 77, Andrew Kruder. Israel by 4. In this primetime battle to close out the first day of the playoffs in the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Tuesday night, just past 8 o'clock local time, San Diego, California. Ireland turnover coming off a timeout. Matthew Popek, Israel, dynamic and unsettled. But the other factor that's now already in play is the scoreboard. And no possession timer being utilized, so there's really no wrong answer. It's all right answers for Israel. Transition is their strength, but you hold on to it, use some time, and just burn some clock. That never really hurts either when you're up by 4+ goals. This is their largest lead. They scored all 4 goals in the first 5 minutes since halftime, after scoring one really early on in the first 2 minutes of the first quarter. Ireland got one from Patrick Corbett with under a minute to play in the first quarter. That's been it so far. It was 1-1 at halftime, and it's opened up from there in favor of Israel. Shane makes the pass. Apelt right next to the crease is stopped. The Philly native Connor Kelly. He's had big game experience throughout his career, played in a national championship game at Notre Dame for the Fighting Irish, in which they lost to Duke. Of course, they got redemption this year. Kelly has long since graduated, but surely celebrating that win. He's a lone Notre Dame player on the team, but always good to have that synergy. Corbett circles around. He sends a teammate reaching, but luckily they had help coming on in the form of a substitute in Somerville who just checked in. And now Connor Foley will reinitiate. Off the pick, Foley got a step and he scores. Team Ireland's top point scorer in the tournament finally gets on the board this evening. And he gets Drew Moore's 5-hole. You know, so often we talk about lacrosse in the context of the greater sports environment. Team Israel has focused on encouraging a different outlet for those that have some unique interests in their state. You know, everyone wants to play soccer and basketball, the global sports in Israel, but even if it's not the cool thing to do, is the way that head coach Max Silberlich put it. You know, have some young kids being inspired by their national team play lacrosse. And for Ireland, a little different than you'd expect in most countries. The most popular sports are hurling and Gaelic football. But there's a little bit of equipment crossover. Some similarities when you think about hurling. There are a couple of former hurlers on their national team, and so it's about providing a different option from those sports in the nation of Ireland. Foley slips, tries to keep it alive. He does, dives in, and Morris just recovers in time. Counter punch in the midst of being thrown by Ireland, and that was very close to back-to-back goals for Foley. Israel loves open space. Overall, Ireland's been pretty good at preventing those transition goals that have been Israel's signature in the tournament. But unsettled here and off the pipe. There goes the shot from Kadish, who backs up his own shot. And now Israel uses the stoppage to put some more offensive players onto the field. Kadish stays out there for an offensive shift for now. Face-off specialist and defensive midfielder. Now he's creeping out. Or at least he was showing like he would. He's staying in, being marked by Somerville, who's more of an offensive player. So an inverse matchup. They're kind of just making it 5-on-5 right now. Kadish just lingering out of the picture, and Israel turns it over. Not a bad concept there. Spread the field out, have fewer players out there. But off the turnover, Ireland will now get a chance to pull within 2. And back-to-back 7th place finishes in their 2 previous appearances in the World Championship. For Israel, of course, 2018, it was in Israel in Netanya. For Ireland, they finished in 12th place out of 46 teams in 2018. Stricter qualification process put in place for this year. So now, while there are plenty of more teams that would love to be here, and rapid expansion in the number of member teams in the governing body of World Lacrosse, they have reduced the number of qualifiers to 30. Both of these teams are in the category of unbeaten still. Only several of those remain in the field of 30. That was a lightning fast shot, and then off the rebound, Foley. It was hard to tell. We're so far away on this side of the field. If it was a shot or a fake, it was a full windup from Foley. It looked like it was, and it just kind of bounced right back at him, so he got another opportunity. But now a flag comes in. It's a weird hour. It's dusk. And anything that goes on the right side goal from our vantage point, I cannot stress enough that it's kind of an educated guess from our vantage point up here. But unsportsmanlike conduct on Israel, number 33, Cody Swing, his second penalty of the game. 60 seconds to go in the third quarter. O'Riordan. And it's backed up by the goalie, Drew Morris. And a man-down situation. It's the goalie recognizing his opportunity to back that up. And now surely Israel wants to just use the rest of this penalty time up. No clearing clock in addition to no possession timer. Trying to avoid risk right now. Penalty time is done with 10 seconds to go. Now we'll see what Israel can try and do. They sub someone on. It's Krevsky. He's going to make a mad dash here with 3 and 2. Krevsky, the shot. Doesn't get all the way through. A late answer from Ireland and Connor Foley, but Israel scored 4 goals in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter after each team had just 1 in the first half. It is still in play, but Israel has the upper hand in this battle to reach the quarterfinals and face the U.S. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. An opportunity to watch the sunset in addition to some lacrosse. The sun is mostly set here, but the colors still vibrant in the distant horizon. And which colors will win out here? Will it be the bright green of Team Ireland or the Israeli Blues? Moving on to face the red, white, and blue tomorrow. Israel hoarded possession the first 5 minutes. Didn't even let Ireland have the ball for the first portion of that third quarter. Scored 4 straight in the process. Ireland got one late from their top scorer, Foley. So it's 5-2. Fourth quarter underway. This is Foley from X. Getting aggressive, leaning in. Foley's shot is denied, and whistle. And someone's hurt again, I believe. The medical staff on the Israel side has been working hard today. We've seen Solomon not 100%. We've seen multiple defensive players go down. And this one looks to be potentially serious. Just judging on the reaction right away. It's a defensive midfielder and face-off specialist. Oh my. I mean, if there's one thing you probably don't want to lose going into a matchup against the United States, it's your best face-off guy. And of course, everything that Ian Kadish means to Israel Lacrosse. He basically runs Israel Lacrosse. The executive director who started out in development, and his role just continued to expand, and now he's full-time. He still plays, but he also runs the organization worldwide. And I'm sure he was just so thrilled to take on, if they could close this out, the United States tomorrow. Hopefully it's not as bad as it looked, despite him walking off slowly. Possession, meanwhile, was separately awarded to Israel. Play stopped because of the injury, but they were given possession. There's some solid depth across this team, but Kadish takes most of the draws. Score update in the fourth quarter. Haudenosaunee on top of Hong Kong 10-3, so they look primed to advance. This playoff game still a bit more up for grabs. Bolter. And Ireland should take this back up, but a flag flies behind the play. So it comes down to that ruling. And I think it's going against Team Ireland.
Penalty of Team Ireland, number 25, slash, 1 minute.
James Fennessy, a 1-minute slashing penalty. Krevsky from Shane. Those two play catch again. Off the cut, Apelt tried the quick stick, but back the other way comes Ireland, a man down. Patrick McShane trying to go coast to coast. Corbett to the trailer. Back to the pass intended for Corbett, but it was thrown away. Now Israel in open space. And Apelt couldn't snatch it. It's still in play over toward the sideline. And the violation against Israel. Well, this is the type of game that Israel prefers, more wide open, but you start to get to a point situationally where that actually favors the team that's down, and that's Ireland. Penalty time is also done. Actually, as of now, back to even strength, but Ireland waiting things out now, 6-on-6. Brian Smith out of West Hartford, Connecticut, sneaks around the screen. A good bluff. Now Foley and Tig O'Riordan. Smith off the roll dodge, lost it, but O'Riordan was ready. O'Riordan on the move. Shot is vacuumed easily. Drew Morris takes a hard hit. Don't think I saw a flag there. It was ruled clean. But meanwhile, a Kruder long pole shot. Now a flag is down on the offensive side of the field for Israel. I think I hear an illegal body check, 1 minute from down there. Going against Connor Foley. Israel on the man up again. Ireland playing with fire here, already down by 3 goals. Nearly thrown away. Kraft, who scored the first goal of the game, able to retrieve. Ori Bar-David out there in the man up. Make that Jean-Luc Chetner for Israel. Jean-Luc Chetner out there from British Columbia, number 55. Again, getting a bigger role today and zips one over the top. Chetner scored 113 career points at Towson. Also played box lacrosse in the NLL. Ireland thought they had the turnover, but Israel gets it back. Now we're back to 6-on-6. And so with the 3-goal lead, Israel might take a beat here. Come up empty on the man up, but they still have possession. And with no timer in effect, the officials can put a stall warning in place and make them stay in the zone. Or if you're not in the zone yet, get in the zone. Chetner scoops that well, flips it in, and the turnaround shot is in. Jackson Apelt off an A-plus assist from Jean-Luc Chetner. Chetner has to handle the bad pass, grab it in pressure with 2 players collapsing on him, and then a nice find. Sometimes offense by accident is no fluke. Bad pass kind of gets the defense moving in that direction, and then the numbers favor Israel going back toward goal. You are watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Middle of the 4th quarter. It's Israel 6, Ireland 2. AJ Cannell with you on what's become a bit of a breezy evening here in San Diego. Constant temperatures in the 60s and 70s all week. High of just about 70 during the day and sunny, and then down to the 60s at night all tournament long. Perfect week for lacrosse. Team Israel has controlled the second half, but Foley forcing the issue and putting one home, plus the flag. He untangled himself en route to the goal. Last 2 Ireland goals have been scored by Connor Foley. Honestly, hard to imagine how difficult that is to maintain possession, never mind finish like that. And Drew Morris has been nearly flawless, but gives one up there, and Ireland is still kind of hanging around. Time becoming a factor. Ireland knows it. Here comes Foley. He is laid out. Flag comes in. Cody swing. Has been in the gym. Really, it kind of looked worse live than it did there. Didn't even really get all of them, but Foley went down really hard if you watch that kind of full speed and zoomed out. Timeout Israel. With their team going man down, head coach Max Silberlich doesn't want to see them let one slip away. Again, it just becomes that interesting dichotomy of the style that Israel normally wants to play. Coach Silberlich said it's been a mindset since May 2022, Memorial Day 2022, that their idea of how they wanted to run this program is to play fast. And I said, well, how do you play fast? You know, it's easy to say, okay, we want to play fast and go transition, but how do you really implement that and make sure? And he said, well, we recruited defenders and poles that had that ability. There was a game earlier in pool play. Ryan Fitzpatrick out of University of Massachusetts had 2 different long pole goals in one game. It was against Philippines. But at this stage, when that's kind of your identity over almost anything else, what do you do? Because you're trying to nurse a lead. There's no possession clock. You got to be a bit of a chameleon. Israel probably wants to slow this game down. It's the opposite of the game plan for both teams coming in. Ireland's got to pick up the pace. Right now they have the man up. It's actually a 6-on-4 at the moment. Two men down for Israel. Must have for Ireland. Foley takes it. Israel released one player back onto the field, but also the player that was serving the penalty thought he was coming out. And so they get flagged now for an offside as that shot is saved by Morris, but Israel finds itself in more trouble. Miscommunication, I think, there between Silberlicht and one of the players in the box. Now it stays 6-on-4, and we have no posted penalty clock, so don't know for sure on the timing. Corbett stopped, and then 2 point-blank saves. Dempsey also stopped. Corbett whistles one in. Back-to-back impressive saves by Morris, but Corbett would not be denied, and this is a ball game. I don't know who's stopping that one from that close range with that precision. On that type of turnaround play, he whipped that one home. Clock is still running. It runs until 2 minutes to go. Then stop time rules are in effect. Ireland gets the face-off. Could an epic comeback be in the works, or can Israel hold on for dear life? I say epic because it's been such a low-scoring game. Ireland was stuck at 1 goal for so long. Back to even strength now. Patrick Corbett and Connor Foley, 42 and 18 for Ireland, each have 2 goals. Shot by O'Riordan, blocked on the way through. That is so painful to wear one like that with this rubber lacrosse ball, if you haven't felt it before. Luke Palmadesso setting it up. Foley off the fake, gets topside, he whips it in! Connor Foley has the hat trick. Ireland back within 1. Ian Kadish is out there taking faceoffs again for Israel. There's an opportunity for the Israelis, and a big ground ball from Cody Swing, who's had a bit of a tough game in terms of taking penalties. Huge ground ball with a 1-goal lead. As much as Ireland's held the momentum, they're forced to push the issue now. With no possession timer, the officials will not wait long for a stall warning to make Israel keep it in. If they can even hold on. Wait a second. There are 5 green jerseys there, and Ireland gets it. Their defensive midfielder, short stick, Jack Galvin, gets it across midfield and in some trouble with Corbett Timeout is called, then the flag flies. We're going to have to see here about a potential penalty with 1:16 to go. It was really the penalties, too, that helped Ireland get back in this game. The 6-on-4 situation that got extended because of a miscommunication re-entering off of the first penalty that led to an offside. That is offside. And let's get confirmation, guys, down there what this will be. Our great crew is figuring it out. It is a 30-second offside penalty on Jackson Apel. Ireland middle of the pack coming in terms of man-up percentage. Apelt has to sit and watch. Could his team be on the verge of a brand new game? It felt like this was one that Israel had. It still could be. The 9 versus 8 seed quarterfinal matchup against the United States tomorrow is what is at stake. This is a first-round game. After 4 games in pool play, both teams unbeaten. Israel, Ireland. Quick 30 seconds here of man up. Palmadesso to Foley. Corbett backing out. Again, not much time when you factor in it's only a 30-second penalty. Corbett from the goal line. Foley got a step, lost the ball. He's checked, and 2 flags fly, make it 3. All of the officials recognizing an infraction. And it is Cody's swing going over to the sin bin again. Israel has been living in the penalty box, quote-unquote box, since halftime, and especially in the fourth quarter. Foley gets laid out, not for the first time. And it's 6-on-4 again. Israel scratching and clawing for their lives in this game. They still somehow have the lead, but they're down to 4 defenders for really the 3rd time. Under 50 seconds to go. What a fascinating finish. Burke waiting. 1 Israel player back on. 6-on-5. Silberlicht is back in. O'Riordan, big step down shot. They gave him space off a miscommunication. Ball is dead here, so I don't know if we're seeing a timeout. Either team can take a timeout right now if they choose. That's in play. It's now 6-on-5, 33.2 as an official's pause for a second. Ireland has no timeouts left. Keep that in mind. Palmadesso. Back to the point, O'Riordan. Corbett, his shot is saved by Morris. Israel playing keep away. Morris along the end line with 10 seconds to go. Fires it full field. It gets through. It's taken by Shane. And a whistle comes with 5.3. Offside is the call against Israel. So it's a Hail Mary situation here. Smith chucks it down the field. Whistles come. We're going to restart it. That probably helps Team Israel get things organized defensively. Another mental error by Israel. A big reset back to 8.4. The ball, though, is still all the way down the other end. all the way down the field. No clean catches made. It's Israel's possession, and that should do it. And now another injury. Ryan Fitzpatrick, one of their top long poles, gives a thumbs up with the glove. He says he's good. But it's Israel's ball. Now they can go full field here or just try and hold it. Really not much Ireland can do without possession and 3 seconds to go. Wow, Israel holds on for dear life, and Mazel Tov, you're going on to the quarterfinals to take on the United States. A game that began in a total stalemate. Israel took a 5-1 lead, and then Ireland came storming back from 4 goals down with help from some Israel penalties. What a performance out of Foley and Corbett on the Ireland side, each putting in multiple goals. A hat trick for Foley. Israel got every single goal, all 6 from a different goal scorer. And what a performance from their goaltender, Drew Morris, one of the top players in this tournament, no doubt. 9 saves for him. Israel outlasts Ireland and sets up a date with the U.S. tomorrow, 7 o'clock Pacific, at Torero Stadium at the University of San Diego. For our entire crew, A.J. Cannell saying so long from Brady Field on the campus of San Diego State. A fun first round matchup, to say the least. Israel survives against Ireland.